All right, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining today for today's product presentation from NewTech Wood. We're going to be learning about some insights about wood plastic composite products for various applications such as decking and siding. So we've got Anish here from the NewTech Wood team today who's going to be giving our product presentation. And before we go ahead and get started with that portion of today's webinar, we're going to do a quick little intro about Acelab. So we're helping out with hosting today's event. My colleague Helen here is Acelab's Director of Architect Experience. So she's going to give a few minutes of an introduction to Acelab, show you some of the stuff that we have and some of the stuff that's coming up, as well as how to connect with today's presenters and what to expect after today's webinar. And after that, we'll go ahead and get started with today's presentation. So Helen, whenever you're ready, feel free to go ahead.
All right, thanks, Bo. Hey, everyone, I'm Helen, and I'm going to take you through a couple different things today. So I like to start this off with what to expect and how to get in touch with Anish and his team at NewTech Wood. So what you can do here is you can always search for any brand that you need. You'll type in their name in the top, make sure you have brand selected, and then you can go to their page on Acelab. Here you're going to be able to see information, you'll be able to get in touch and additional items here. You can save all of their products if you're interested in them to your projects. What that's going to allow you to do is create really nice side-by-side comparisons. So here's some kind of great stuff here that you can see. Further down too, you'll see inspiration, different photos and things like that. You can also see where they're located. Anish and I are just talking my hometown back in Houston. So anyways, lots of great stuff here for y'all. What'll happen after this webinar is that you're going to receive a message from my colleague Evelyn. You'll see that come into your workspace here, and then you can go to conversations. You probably won't have 238. That's just for me. But you'll see that pop up there. You'll also get an email about that as well. And you can reply directly to Anish in that email as well. So if you're looking for product literature, he'll get in touch. Really encourage y'all to please include as many details as you can on the form that you'll get at the end of this webinar. Reason being is that helps Anish send you like the most targeted literature. So let us know what your typical project types are, your typical project locations. All that information can help, cut out some of the back and forth and just allow Anish to kind of tailor the literature appropriately for that as you need. And especially if you have a project on there, let us know. We'll then create the project for you and kick that conversation off within your Acelab account. So all that being said, that's what you can expect after this. You'll also get a series of kind of emails and messages from us, making sure that you're supported in that way. With that being said, I want to take y'all and show you something fun and exciting. So comparisons, I don't know if you've played with those yet on Acelab, but they're really awesome. Our team basically across the different categories as defined by CSI master format. We will take these, we decide which kind of parameters are important for you as an architect in that category, and we're going to give you an apples to apples comparison. So this is kind of what it looks like. Your whole team can leave comments, you can add documents, BIM, CAD, spec files. If they're publicly available for the product, you'll see them here. You'll see kind of high level description. And again, each of these different categories has different taxonomies, if you will, of what's important. So for this one, we're going to see dimensions, we're going to see finishes, window information, and then we also do these performance graphs for you. And so it's a really handy tool. This exists currently in the app. So every time if I come back here and I was to save these two products, for example, I'd be able to get that nice side-by-side comparison. So this exists. What's coming out soon is the ability that everything you've saved in your comparisons will jump into your schedules. So again, CSI master format here. All of these columns are custom. We know architects like to do things their own way. And so this will all be available for you to tailor as you need. You can keep track of your approvals. You can, scroll over here. A big one is also what other projects this has been used at in your firm. The reps that you're chatting with, all kinds of good information here. You can also export this and you can take that in as a CSV, drop that into your drawing set, whatever you might be using for documentation. Also with this feature is going to be the ability for y'all, if you like these products, you want to use them on your next project, you can select them and you can then import them into your new project. So lots of good stuff to come here. Last but not least, on the heels of this will be our spec planner launch. And what this does is it's going to take all those products you've saved and put them under that category. So essentially this becomes a working to-do list for your firm. Hey, we've got all this, we need to figure out what metal shingles we're going to use. Just an example of how this can be useful. This you can also export, gives you a nice jumping off point for your spec. If you want early access to these features, you can meet with me and we can chat and also talk about a bunch of other ways you can collaborate within your firm, but also with your clients and other stakeholders to set up Acelab for kind of maximum success for you as a material hub for your firm. All right, I will pause there, pass it back to Anish. Thank you so much and hope to meet with you soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Helen. If you would like to book some time with Helen to learn some more about what we just covered, feel free to respond yes to the poll that's up now, and also keep your eye out in the chat for her meeting link if you'd like to just book directly there. All right, I just want to encourage folks throughout today's presentation, feel free to submit any questions to the Q&A. We'll keep an eye on those, so if anything seems super urgent, we can answer it during the presentation. We'll typically leave some time at the end to answer those questions out loud, and if we don't get to your question live today, we'll have a record of it so we can follow up with you after today's event. So feel free to submit any questions and comments throughout today's presentation so we can be sure to get to them. All right, Anish, whenever you're ready, feel free to share your screen and take it away.
Thank you so much, Bo. So my name is Anish. I'm with NewTech Wood. I'm the customer service manager as well as the inside sales rep here for the western side of the United States. And so our company is NewTech Wood. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. Just a second. Okay, so you should see the NewTech Wood website now.
Yep, looks great.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of background on NewTech Wood, as mentioned before, we are a wood plastic composite manufacturer, and I'm sure in the past you've come across this type of company and that make this type of product. And I just want to kind of give you an idea of how we're a little bit different. First, to give you a little background, our company was started by our CEO, Terry Lamb. And Terry Lamb actually graduated from the University of Texas in Austin, but he is originally from China. He graduated with a degree in engineering, specifically in plastics. And in the 90s, he went back to China to create recycling plastic plant. And with all the recycled plastic plants in the 90s, that's when wood plastic composite decking started. And so at first, he really did a lot of consulting for other companies until he eventually decided to start his own company, which was NewTech Wood. And with NewTech Wood, what we first started with was decking. So just to give you a little idea of the difference between our products and some other products. In the beginning, there was about first generation kind of material, which was uncapped. And so every time they made some sort of wood plastic composite product, we learn a little bit more about how it worked out, in the field and what the longevity was. So there were a lot of issues with it at first, and a lot of the products were not capped. As you can see, when you have a product that's not capped, you can get all different types of problems like fading, mold and mildew, and that's because the water gets inside the product and harms it in all different types of ways. So cracking, scratching, and all that kind of way. And then other products, other companies started doing the halfway capped, but as you can see, the moisture still finds a way to get to it. So you're still going to see problems if you're not capping it all the way. We at NewTech Wood, we are 360 degree capped. So that is our product. It's 360 degree capped. And we have, all different companies are basically doing the same thing, which is getting a product that has the protection of plastic, but it looks like wood as much as possible, right? So that's the goal, so that it lasts a long time, but it still looks very nice and wood-like. And so let's move on to the next part. So we do have different types of testing that we've done. So you can look through our website to see the different type of testings we have. We also have an architect resource page. And the reason I'm using the website and why we use the website for the webinars is because one, it has almost all the information that you would need, that architects need, that contractors need, homeowners need. But two, it also, if you need to reference back to something that I'm going to present today, you'll know exactly where I was talking about it and where you can find it. So in the architect resources, you'll see our AutoCAD files, our certificates, ManuSpec, RVT files, and any other install guide or any other information on all different types of products that we carry. Now, for today's webinar, I'm only going to cover 3 of our main product lines. That's going to be our decking, our deck tiles, and our siding. But I think I'm going to go decking, siding, and then deck tiles. So we'll start with our decking, as that is the most popular type of product that a wood plastic composite company is known for, and what separates our decking from some of the other ones that are in the market today. Besides what I already mentioned, which is trying to make the product look most like wood while still having all the protection of plastic that's going to last you over 25 years, right? So first and foremost, what you'll notice here is that we offer a deck board that's two-sided. There's a couple of advantages to this. The first one, the customer gets to pick which side they like more. Now, it's a little hard to see it on the screen, but if you do get free samples, you'll see it a little bit better, but there is a clear distinction between one side and the other side. And what we've noticed from customers is that it's about 50-50, which side they like more. Some people like this oak looking grain, kind of more pronounced grain side. Some people like this side, which is more of like a brush finish. For the decking, we offer 6 colors. So 2 or 3 of these are in the brown tone. So Brazilian Ipe, Peruvian teak, Spanish walnut. Now, just to kind of clarify, none of these products are actual Ipe, actual walnut, or anything like that. These are just the names of the colors that we're making. So what our product is actually made of is a mix of high density polyethylene and wood fibers. And there's an outer layer of polymer, and that is what we call our ultra shield, which is the cap that's on top of all our products that protects it that much more. So it's a proprietary blend. Like I said, every company is doing something very similar, but every company has their own proprietary blend that makes their specific product look unique to them. This one is Roman antique. It's closer to gray. There's also Westminster gray, and then a color that's closer to black, which is Hawaiian charcoal. Now, moving on to our deck boards, as you'll see, we have 4 different types of profiles. So I'm just going to quickly go over why you would prefer one over the other and what the purpose of these boards are. So first and foremost, you have the US07 Cortez series. And as you can see, this is a very traditional decking product. Now, our boards come in 16 footers and 8 footers only. They're about 5.5 inches wide, specifically at exactly 5 7/16 inches wide, and they're 7/8 of an inch thick. This is your solid square edge deck board, meaning it cannot be installed with a clip system. It will only be installed with our specific screws. And I'll go over the clips and screws here in a little bit. Moving on, the next one is called the US01 Magellan series. Now, this deck board is also solid, just like the Cortez, but as you'll see, there's grooves on either side of the board. So the purpose of that is to install it with a clip system so that you do not see holes or screws at the top of your deck. So it gives it a nice clean look. However, if for whatever reason you do want to use our clip system, or excuse me, our color match screws or our pro plug screws, you can do this with this deck board. So this deck board can be used with clips or with screws. Moving on to the Voyager board. This is our hollow board, and actually this is our most popular deck board, as most of our installations are going to be residential. Although we do have commercial applications as well, we usually recommend using the solid boards for the commercial applications, as if you'll be in a place where you're seeing hundreds of footsteps every day, these two are just going to last a little bit longer than the hollow boards. Now, the hollow boards are absolutely safe. They still provide 95% of the strength capacity that these other two boards do, but because they are hollow, they're easier to work with because they're lighter. So a lot of contractors like working with it. And because it's hollow, there's less material. So for the most part, they're usually less expensive than the solid boards. Now with this board, unfortunately, you cannot use the color match screws or the pro plug screws, because if you screw it down, obviously it's hollow, so it's not secured as well as if you would be using the solid boards. So for the hollow boards, you can only use our clip system. Moving on to the last board, this is the US-33 Columbus board. Now with the Columbus board, what you'll notice is there's a groove on one side, but it's solid and square edged on the other side. And so what that is if you're using the majority of your deck with either of the Magellan or the Voyager, and you don't want the last board to show that groove, what you'll do is you'll use this board to finish it off, right? So this side will connect to either groove, but at the end, it'll give you a nice finished look. There's also a groove at the bottom, and that area is where you'll be using a starter strip or a starter clip to begin that first board and put every board after that one. So those are the 4 deck boards that you can see for our profiles. Obviously, these are the 3 that you're going to be using for the majority of your deck. This will only finish off these 2. And obviously, if you use the Cortez series, you will not need the Columbus series. Okay. So moving on, we'll go over some of the other information that we provide for customers. So I really like our website because it does a great job of providing everything that a customer needs to know. So not everybody is going to want to click on everything and, read the fine print or whatever it may be. So we have a video here called the deep dive video. I'm not going to play it for you now, but just a quick description. What this video is this gentleman is going to go over all of the deck board in the same way that I did, but he's also going to go over all the accessory pieces that come with our decking boards, the different colors that we offer, the different profiles, the different styles. He will also go over that as well. One of the most important parts of our decking is the installation video. We have contractors who have used wood plastic composite products before, as there are many out there. So we came into the game a little bit later. So there are a couple of things that we do a little bit differently, and I will talk about that when we get to the clip system. But it's important that even if you or your contractor have installed composite decking before, that you certainly go over the installation video, because there are certain things we do differently. And we do those things differently because we were lucky enough to get focus groups and feedback from people who have used composite decking and contractors who have told us, hey, this is my issue with it. If there is a new line of composite decking coming out, here's what I would do to fix it. So we took a lot of that insight and feedback, and we kind of applied it to our decking products. So certainly check out that installation video. The installation video is pretty broad, but it gives you a good idea of why it's a little bit different than maybe some other competitors of ours. But even more detailed than the installation videos is going to be the installation guide. So here you can download the installation guide. It's going to tell you step by step how to install the deck properly, whether it's by using the clip system or the screws, installing the stairs. And I do want to mention, I think I quickly forgot this, but we wouldn't recommend using the hollow boards on the stairs. Again, it's not about the structural integrity as much as it is about how quickly it could wear down. So we would recommend using the solid boards if you'd like the board to last, upwards to 25 years or more. So usually the solid boards for the stairs, as well as commercial use, residential use, you're going to use the Voyager series. or at least that is our most popular way of how people are using the Voyager series. Lastly, as far as the general information on the decking, we do have technical data sheets. You'll find this on the page of the decking itself, or as I showed earlier on the architect resources page. So that will generally be majority of the information. Certainly you can come back to this page and read a little bit more detailed about it. We're pressed on time. I couldn't cover everything about it within a span of an hour, but this information is very similar to what I've already told you, just a little bit more in more detail. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to show you a little bit about the clips and screws and the type of screws that we offer. Now, we offer customers a choice of two different types of screws. One is called a mini gap, and as you can see, it only leaves 3/64 of an inch. So if you really like that look, that almost looks like hardwood floors in your home, almost no gap at all, this is the clip system that you'll use. But if you like a traditional gap on decking, then you'll use the T-clip system. Now, here's where it gets a little bit different than some of our competitors who use, one type of clip. And what I mean by that is whether you get the mini gap system or whether you get the T-clip system, in one bag, you're going to get 75 CEC clips and you're going to get 15 locking clips. And there's a quite pronounced difference between the two. CEC stands for controlling expansion and contraction. So our boards, our NewTech Wood decking boards, just like some of our other products, will expand and contract as the weather changes. So in the summer, the length of the boards are going to get longer, and in the winter, the length of the boards are going to get shorter. Now, you don't have to worry about the expansion and contraction on the width of the board, but you should expect to see expansion and contraction at the length of the boards. What the CEC clip does, it actually allows for that expansion and contraction. What the locking clip does is it locks the board so that the expansion and contraction happen in the opposite direction. When you run them up, when you line them up in an installation, most of your clips are going to be the TC2s for the T-clip, which is the CEC clip. So you're going to have 75 of these, you're going to have 15 of these. And what you'll do is you're going to put these every 16 inches on center. When you get the middle of your run, you're going to put one of these so it locks the board down in the middle. Finish the rest of the run with the TC2s. So the board is locked in the middle and the expansion and contraction happens on either side of the board. The longest run you can do without adding a breaker board is 32 feet. So that's two 16-foot boards. And when you have two 16-foot boards come together, instead of having that locking clip in the middle of one deck board, now you're going to have a locking clip on either side of your butt joint. Now, if you have breaker boards, and I apologize if this is getting a little too deep in the weeds and it's getting a little too technical, but when you have the chance to go over the installation guide, it's a lot more clear. And then as far as if you have a breaker board or if you have a picture frame on your deck, we also offer clips for those. And that's what the TC17 and TC27 are. Lastly, we have two different choices of the starter clips. This is to get your first board started. So you put the starter clips in and you slide that first board in. The two choices are if you want them flush to your fascia or your joist, or if you like an overhang on your deck, we also offer the TC19. So as you can see, there's a little bit of an overhang. This is that Columbus board we talked about earlier, that hybrid board. Okay, and there's a locking clip position that shows you where the locking clips go. This is kind of showing you two deck boards coming together, putting the locking clips at the butt joint and the regular clips every 16 inches on center so that the expansion and contraction happen in the opposite direction and your butt joints are tight and you don't see gaps when they expand and contract. Okay, moving on to our accessories. We do offer a fascia board. We offer an L trim. although that's been more popular in Europe to use the L trim. You may have seen some other things like the hollow boards, and for that, we also offer, let's see, these caps. So once you have those hollow boards and you want to finish them off, you can kind of put some silicone sealant. As you can see here, they put some silicone sealant and they'll cap the board so it gives it a nice finished look. We also offer de-scratch kits, so if you have some minor scratches or nicks, you can kind of cover them up. They have color match, stuff like that. So this isn't going to be for your major dents or major damages, but if you have some minor scratches, we do offer a de-scratch kit. And I just want to go back to clips and screws real quick, and we'll just cover the color match screws. Now remember, some of those deck boards, you cannot use the screws on the grooved boards, but you can use the screws on the solid deck boards. And we offer customer two choices: color match screws or a pro plug screw, which comes with a depth setter tool as well. So that's pretty much it. We do have a fascia screw as well. So that's pretty much it for our decking. I know that seems like a lot of information, but certainly once you kind of get it down, it's very simple. We're not making all of these accessories and pieces and parts to make it more complicated. We just found that giving customers different choices really provides a full product line to cover all different kinds of customers who have all different kinds of tastes. Okay, so moving on from our decking, I am now going to go to our siding. And I really like this photo that presents our first siding profile, which is the all-weather siding and cladding. And the reason I like this photo so much is it really shows how versatile our products are. So that means you can install our siding horizontally, you can install our siding vertically, and you can install our siding for soffit or ceiling purposes. This one is just a flat board, so you can see what it looks like here. Let me just go to the profile. So similar to the decking, it's about 5.5 inches wide. However, it's a 1/2 inch thick. And I do want to emphasize this point that there are competitors out there that do sell wood plastic composite decking, but they'll usually say that they sell cladding or siding as well. But for the most part, they're taking their decking products and essentially face screwing them on the wall and calling it cladding or calling it siding. That is not what we're doing here. We're actually providing customers with a tongue and groove rainscreen application siding. So what that means is that when you install our products, because they're installed with the clip system, they provide a 1/4 inch standoff. So there's plenty of airflow between your substrate and the siding itself. And because it's a tongue and groove installation, there should not be any rain getting back there. So real quick, I'm going to show you this quick video. It's very short, but it just gives you an idea what the difference between our boards are and some of the competitors. You're not going to see, or you're not going to hear any sound on this, but you don't really need it. So just want to give you an idea of how it is a rain screen application. So you'll see our boards and then the competitors' boards. So this is the competitors, this is ours. And what you see here is the competitors, the water gets behind the siding. So it could possibly damage your substrate. Any kind of moisture getting back there will cause a lot of issues, as you may already know. And so this is what happens when water gets back there for the competitor. And then this is what happens when you use our product, just to give you an idea that it truly is a closed rain screen application. Now, for the siding, we do offer more colors than we do for the decking. So as you can see, we have Spanish walnut, Brazilian ipe, antique, charcoal, and Westminster gray, just like the decking. But we also offer Icelandic smoke white, Japanese cedar, as well as a new kind of popular style called the Shosugibon, also known as the Japanese charred wood. Now, again, these are not the actual, this is not really Japanese charred wood. This isn't really cedar. These are all wood plastic composite materials, high density polyethylene mixed with wood fibers and an outer shell of polymer. Now, 95% of the materials that we use are recycled and recyclable. Okay, moving on. Our siding products do come with trim pieces. You may have, you may refer to it as molding. We call it trim, but essentially it's the same thing. And the reason for the trim is because our products will expand and contract. These trim pieces kind of help to mitigate that expansion and contraction so the boards don't butt into each other and also allow for that expansion and contraction. So when you're installing a siding into the outside corner, you're not going to go all the way in. You're just going to go about halfway or maybe 3/4 of the way in so that in the summer it can still expand and in the winter it can still contract, but nobody can see it because it's happening inside the trim. This is the F trim. We usually recommend to finish your runs on the F trim. This is the H trim or the I trim. And this is for butt joints. So again, just like the decking, we're gonna allow for a maximum run of 32 feet. But after you get to 32 feet, then we do require using the H trim to stop the run and start a new run. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to stop it at 32 feet. You can do it anytime before 32 feet if you feel that it's going to be more congruent to your installation. However, 32 feet is the maximum length before you do need an H trim. This is for the outside corner. This is for the inside corner. Pretty self-explanatory on that. Now, these are our clip system. So as I mentioned before, the clips allow for about a 1/4 inch space between your substrate. On these pictures, you're seeing metal or aluminum hat channels, but usually people will use pressure treated wood as the furring strips. So you can use furring strips that are about 3/4 of an inch to an inch thick to install the products, or you can apply it directly to plywood as long as your plywood is a minimum of 5/8 inch thick. If you don't have that capability, as long as you're hitting the studs every 16 inches on center, on horizontal installations, you can certainly do that as well. But if you're doing a vertical installation, then furring strips will be required because you're not going to be able to hit the studs every 16 inches on center for those vertical installations. So either furring strips or 5/8 inch plywood. You do also have a rubber stopper here, and that's really in a horizontal installation. You're never going to have a perfect fit for your last board, so you're going to have to rip that board. And when you rip that board, you're going to rip the groove, so you won't be able to fit this clip on this groove for your last board. So you'll use the rubber stoppers, and it's going to provide that same 1/4 inch gap that the clips provided. However, you will need to pre-drill and face screw that last board, and you can use our color match fascia screws that we talked about with the decking to do that. Now, all of this will be on the installation guide. So certainly if you have more questions, more technical or installation questions, those will be covered on the install guide. And you can obviously always call NewTech Wood for any technical questions you may have as well. This is the starter strip. This helps the first board on a horizontal run. You will screw this into your furring strips or plywood, and then you'll place that first board so everything is straight, and everything after that will also be straight on the installation. Once again, there is a deep dive video. He's going to go over all the accessories, all the parts. So even if in this, quick video that I missed something, he certainly will not, and you'll get even more information through that video as well. We do have installation videos here as well. And so why there are multiple ones here that you're seeing is that this is a horizontal installation. This is a vertical installation, and this is going to be your soffit and ceiling installation as well. For the soffit and ceiling installation, we ask that you space the clips out every 12 inches on center, and that just helps with the sagging and the expansion and contraction instead of 16 inches on center that you would normally do with the walls. Again, download installation guides. This is going to be the bread and butter for your contractor, for your builder, as well as the architects. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I do want to show you what it kind of looks like so you get an idea of what the install guide looks like, how it covers it. So what you're seeing here is it's going to give you a brief intro. It's going to tell you about what kind of clips and screws that you're going to need. What kind of screws you're going to need for the clips. If it would load, I don't know why it's taking a little bit longer. Okay, so I don't think this is essential. So I'm not, it's taking a little bit longer than I expected. So certainly when you get a chance, go ahead and look at the install guide. It kind of goes over the different types of installation. So running into an inside corner, running into an outside corner, and how you would handle that. Essentially, that's what it's going over. Okay, and that is basically it for the install guide for the US09 all-weather system. Again, we do have certificates, and any other kind of documents that an architect would need, specs, manu-specs, Miami-Dade Notice of Acceptance. We also have California Wildlife Urban Interface. We do not pass Class A for the California Wildlife Urban Interface if that is something you're interested in, but it does pass Class A if you install it over a gypsum substrate, something like dense glass, as long as it is 5/8 inch thick. Now, moving on, we can just go over some of our other siding products. These have been very popular lately. It's a more contemporary, modern look. This is what we call our European style siding and cladding. Now, I'm not going to go over too much of this because the way that this is installed is identical to the way that the all-weather siding was installed as well. So as you can see, you can run these vertically as well as horizontally. They do have trim pieces as well. You can finish the trim at the bottom, on the sides, at the top as well. And so that's what you're seeing here. You can see all different types of photos. You can also run them on the ceilings just like you did with the other photos. It's a safe installation for indoors as well as outdoors. Not the same exact colors as the all-weather siding, but some of the same, some of the same colors. These two colors are our most popular colors, Peruvian teak and Brazilian ipe. And I do want to mention that if you want to see these in person, we offer free samples. The shipping is free and the samples are free. They are shipped in 1 foot size and the true width of the product. So 1 foot long and the actual width of the product. For the European style, we offer 2 different boards, the Belgian board, which is going to be a little bit wider, and the Norwegian board. And if you look here, this is going to give you the dimensions. So the Norwegian is 4 13/16 of an inch wide. It is an inch thick. And then here, the Belgian is 7 3/4 of an inch thick, 7 3/4 of an inch wide and 1 inch thick. And as you can see on the side, same clip system, providing you that same 1/4 inch standoff. So moisture should not be getting back there, but if for whatever reason, you have very heavy rain, sideways rain, or hurricane rain that does get some moisture back there because of the airflow between the substrate and the siding, that water will dry out fairly quickly. Again, you have all different types of trim pieces, as you can see in the front row and the back row, top or bottom. And then the clip system, again, you're looking at the exact same clip system. We don't want to make it confusing for the customers. We want to try to keep it as simple as possible. This is the same deep dive video as you saw in the last page. And then again, installation videos and the installation guides, California Wildlife Urban Interface, manu spec, value sheets, contraction and expansion, spec data, and everything related to that. So that is it for the European. And moving on to our very last siding profile. Now, this is also a flat board, but the difference between the all-weather siding and the shadow line siding is, as you can see, this board provides a little bit more of a gap between each board. So some people really like this look where you can see a clear outline gap, whereas the all-weather siding kind of provides only like a line. This, you can clearly see a gap. So when it's installed, you're going to see a gap between each board, and that is where the name comes from. It gives a little bit of a shadow between each board, so that's why it's called a shadow line. The only difference is this is the siding that is the most limited in colors, but it also has one color that is not offered in any of the siding profiles, and that is the Argentinian silver gray. Now, once again, all of these products are made with the same type of material, so you can expect it to last 25 years or more. The great thing about wood plastic composite products is that you're not going to have to treat it. You're not going to have to paint it. You're not going to have to do all this maintenance that you would with wood, right? So if you want to put something together and you don't want to take care of it or do the maintenance on it and constantly spend a lot of money taking care of it, this is why a lot of customers come to us. And we are a company that is unique in the fact that we are selling true tongue and groove rainscreen composite siding. So you're not seeing a lot of that in the market at this time. And same thing here, you're going to see the same clip system. You're going to see actually the exact same trim pieces that you did see with the European, and that is because as well as the European, the shadow line is also an inch thick, but it is wider than the all-weather, but not as wide as the Belgian. It is 6 and 11/16 inch wide. Certainly the same clip system. We don't have an installation video on this yet. This is our newest siding product. So as you can see, we do have a horizontal installation guide already on here. And then if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us directly or shoot us an email. So we'll have technical experts. We do also have field reps. So if you're in a local area and you would like somebody to come down and do a PK, just contact us, shoot us an email at inquiry@newtechwood.com, and we can provide you with the contact information for your local outside field rep. He can give you more information as well as help with the installation process. Okay, so this is going to give us about 15 minutes for me to go over the very last product, and that is going to be our composite deck tiles. Now, the difference between this product and the products that I went over is this is truly a DIY type of product. Now, it doesn't mean that your project is going to be DIY. Certainly, you can get very complicated with this product as well. So you may have to hire contractors, but if you just have like an outdoor, a patio, like a concrete patio in your backyard, maybe you're in a space in places like New York where you just have a balcony or you don't have a giant backyard to, apply an entire deck, but you do have a concrete slab, but you want to make the concrete slab look a little bit better. Well, this is a product that instead of going over a joist frame system, it goes directly over the concrete floor. So you could put this over an existing deck. So if you have an old deck, but you don't want to take it apart and start over and buy more decking boards, you can actually place this over an existing deck and you get a new look. You can certainly place them in different types of patterns. Here you'll see it, somebody applied this on their balcony. You can kind of mix up the different sizes. We offer grass tiles as well. And this kind of just gives you an idea of how people have used this product. We offer multicolor if you're into that. And then obviously the parquet pattern as well. And just kind of the versatility of the different kinds of places you can install this product on. Now, what you're seeing here is the top, and then if you flip the deck tile over, you're going to see a grid. And so this grid and the planks that it's on, they come together. Now you're going to see some stainless steel screws that have attached the grid and the planks. If you're cutting it, obviously you're going to want to take those stainless steel screws out before you cut it so you can fit it properly in your area. And what the grid does is provide a little bit of standoff from the deck tile itself so that water can drain directly underneath the deck tiles. A lot of people apply this over a rubber roofing membrane for their rooftop deck, whether that's EPDM or TPO. These are safe to go over a rubber roofing membrane. We just ask that customers apply a sacrificial layer of rubber roofing membrane on top of what they have currently. And then you can put the deck tiles right over it. Now, the deck tiles cannot go over sand, they cannot go over dirt, gravel, any kind of space that's uneven, kind of up and down. Those kinds of areas, they're really meant to go over a solid, flat, smooth surface. Now, with that being said, they can have a slope. And so the area that you have, if it has like a drainage area, those areas do have a slope, and the deck tiles can handle that. There's no issues with drainage slopes or anything like that. And as I mentioned before, the water will drain underneath the deck tiles, and it's going to be the responsibility of whatever is underneath the deck tiles to properly drain the water. Now, as you can see on your right side, we have a lot more colors, right? So a lot of flashy colors, a lot of blues and greens and reds. So you can get really creative with that. We have mixed colors as well. And so we want to make this product a more fun product. Certainly something that you can get excited over. NewTech Wood, even if you're not thinking about, a totally new deck or anything like that. Now we offer this in 3 different sizes. Now what you'll notice here is that the colors are, the availability of the colors are different depending on the size that you buy. So for the 1 foot by 1 foot, it's available in all colors. However, for the 1 foot by 2 foot, these are the colors that they're available in. 1 foot by 3 foot, these are the colors that they're available in. For the most part, these are similar, but I believe the 1 foot by 3 foot has the Icelandic smoke white, but it does not have the Spanish walnut. Okay, and that's kind of how you just put the deck tiles in. This kind of shows you the different pattern. This is not one deck tile. I know that this can get confusing, but because this is one deck tile, but this is actually 4 different deck tiles being laid out in a pattern, parquet or cross stitch or whatever you want to call it. This is showing you the connectors, male and female parts, and how you put them together, and the fact that they do leave a little bit of space. And the deck tiles will expand and contract as well. However, if you lay them out in a cross stitch pattern, you can do as long of a run as you need to. However, if you do them all in one pattern, again, it's a 32-foot span maximum before you have to run perpendicular deck tiles and then start a new run. We do offer accessories, so these are called single slat tiles. So if you'll notice, each deck tile has 4 planks, and the 1x1s come 10 per box. But if you have an area that can't fit an entire deck tile, but maybe you can fit 1 or 2 slats, that is the purpose of the single slat tiles. And you can also use them to break off runs and start new runs as well. And we offer those in the 3 different sizes. What you're seeing here is the back, and what you're seeing here is the front. We also offer 2 different types of edging. The first edging is going to be the fascia. This is more like a ramp. So if there's a household that has a wheelchair, or if you have a door close by or something like that, this is going to be the type of edging that you're going to use. And then you have the bullnose as well. And this is just a regular bullnose edging. It's a little bit thinner. The fascia is a little bit wider. And then we also have a stair fascia, as well as a 3-foot fascia, as well as 3-foot straight trim. Okay, and then I just want to show this quick video once again. And this is just to give you an idea that this is truly a DIY kind of product. As you can see, that all the kids are doing is just snapping them together. You don't want, this product is not to be nailed down or glued down or anything like that, because that's going to hinder it from allowing it to expand and contract. So that's the trim pieces. That's the finished run. They obviously made it to where this video, there were no cuts and there was nothing complicated about it. But certainly you will, most installation will have cuts. So if you're going to cut any of the deck tiles, you're going to look at the back of it, take out the stainless steel screws, and you're going to cut it with a carbide tipped blade. And that goes for actually all of our products. So if you're cutting the decking or the siding as well, you're going to use a carbide tipped blade. Okay, moving on. We also offer grass tiles. The grass tiles can be connected with the rest of your deck tiles, as you may have seen in some of the photos. And the grass tiles come in two different sizes, the 1x1s, as well as a unique 2x2 size as well. And the reason I say it's unique is we do not offer the deck tiles in a 2x2, only the grass tile. We also offer a 1x1 stone slate tile. And then again, once again, you're going to see the deep dive video and some installation videos and a more detailed installation guide. Some technical sheets as well. But again, for the most part, this is still made up of the same material. Now, I just want to go over real quick. When you cut any of these tiles, the side that you cut will no longer be able to attach to any other tile, because what happens is you'll cut the connectors and the connectors will not be able to attach to any of the other deck tiles or any of the accessory pieces. So just keep that in mind. A lot of people use it in different ways. As you can see here, they kind of decorated with rocks. Some people will just have the cut pieces or even the end pieces without using the trim facing the wall. They'll work their way with full pieces away from the house and come towards the house to finish it off. That essentially covers all of the siding, the decking, and the deck tiles. Obviously, I kind of ran through these very quickly. So please, if you're interested in this product, go ahead and go through the install guide and watch some of the videos. The last thing that I am going to mention is that we offer something called a free takeoff and rendering tool. So if you do have some sort of drawings or plans, or you have a picture for something that you want to see what the NewTech Wood looks like, we offer a free takeoff and rendering service. So go ahead and submit those. And it's going to ask you a couple of questions. It's going to ask you, would you like a free takeoff or a free rendering or both? It's going to ask you a couple of questions. One of the main things we're going to need to know is the profile that you need. So that's usually for siding and decking. And for the deck tiles, you can just let them know the size of the deck tiles that you need. You'll attach your files and folders here for the plans, elevations, whatever they may be. You'll put that here, and then you'll put it in a comment box to let them know and be as specific as possible. Like, hey, I'm doing a vertical run on pages 6 and 8, but I would like to do a horizontal run on page 2 and 5. And usually the plans kind of make that pretty clear. But what we're trying to do with the comment box is get all the information as much as possible in the first try, so there's less back and forth for our team to do the takeoff. And then you can submit it. And as you can see here, it usually takes us about 2 to 4 business days to get you back your free takeoffs and free renderings. So free takeoffs, free renderings, free samples. For the free samples, it's kind of like a shopping portal. So you'll go to decking, you'll choose the profile that you like, you'll choose the color, you'll add it to your cart, and you'll check out very similar to any other, website portal. However, the shipping is free and the products are free. So with that, that is going to be the entire coverage of my presentation. Certainly, we have other products, and I hope if you're interested, you'll take the time to go over some of our other products. And so with that, I will present it back to Bo.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anish. That was super informative. We do have some questions. So if anybody else has questions, feel free to throw them into the Q&A now, and we can hopefully get to them live before we jump off today. If not, we'll get to them after today's event. Also, there's a quick poll up. So if you're interested in connecting for some more information, feel free to fill that out and we'll get you connected with their team. All right, I'm going to start at the top and we'll just see how much we can work through. So can you angle the siding like 45 degrees, for example?
Yeah, so unfortunately, our siding is specifically tailored for 90 degrees. And that is just because of the way that the trim pieces are made and how our siding is just a flat, straight board. So if you have, 45 degrees or maybe an even wider angle than 90 degrees, then you would have to kind of outsource your trim and look for other ways that you can install trim pieces that isn't NewTech Wood trim that can still fit the siding and still account for expansion and contraction.
Right, awesome. Are the fasteners stainless steel to last 25 years?
Yes, so our fasteners are stainless steel to last 25 years.
Great, awesome. What if you have to cut them to fit?
Sorry, I just want to go back to that last one. The decking fasteners are stainless steel for the locking clips, but they're plastic for the CEC clips. And then for the siding, it's aluminum, and that's what they're made of. I'm sorry, what was that last question?
The next one is, what if you have to cut them to fit? I'm not sure exactly what they're referencing, but I guess just in general, cutting the products to
Oh, I
fit.
think they're talking about the deck tiles. And like I said, or absolutely, you will have to cut them to fit. Most projects don't have a perfect fit anywhere, so you will have to put them in certain places. But like I said, once you cut an area, you will not be able to attach any other accessory or deck tile. So you kind of have to plan ahead where you're going to cut it and make sure that wherever it is you're cutting, you are expecting the fact that that cut side is going to be exposed. So maybe you're facing it towards a wall, or maybe you're decorating around it with rocks or stones or plants or anything else.
All right, awesome. Great. It looks like the rest of these are just thank yous, folks saying that it was a very informative presentation. So before we jump off, I just want to thank everyone in the audience so much for coming out today. We appreciate you attending, learning some more about new products. If you do have a moment as you're leaving today's webinar, there will be a quick post-event survey. If you can let us know any feedback there, it's super helpful for us to keep bringing you content that's relevant to you. And it actually looks like we did just get one more question coming in, so maybe we'll go to that real quick. What if these are being installed on an existing deck with existing handrails? How would you handle this?
Yeah, so if you're installing the deck tiles over an existing deck with an existing handrail, you have to cut the deck tiles around the posts. You will not be able to, unless you want to take the deck apart, you really can't do much about that area. You do want to leave a little bit of space, but for the most part, you can put the deck tiles directly around that area. You'll just have to cut around that area.
Got it. All right. And then this one seems quick, so we can maybe get to it too. Is the product available in Canada?
Absolutely, but you would have to contact NewTech Wood Canada. We are NewTech Wood United States.
Awesome. All right. And last quick one, is the decking system appropriate for Florida climate?
Oh, absolutely. So the whole sell of our product is the fact that you can use it in all different types of climates. Even one of our siding is even called all weather. So because it is a wood plastic composite material, that plastic is really protecting it from the elements. So We sell our products in Florida, in the Caribbeans, in Hawaii, all the way up to Alaska, Colorado, Utah, and all parts of Europe and around the world.
Awesome. All right, great. Looks like that should have gotten us through. If you have any additional questions, you can feel free to leave them on the post-event survey. You can also grab that link from the chat and get in touch with NewTech Wood directly through Acelab as well. So be sure to grab any of those links that you might need before you head out for today. Thank you so much, Anish, for a great presentation. Really appreciate you. And
Thank you, guys.
good rest of the day.
Thank you, everyone.
Great. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.